Okay, so hi, I'm Dr. Shane Howell, and I'm going to demonstrate and explain some of the things I do to help kind of loosen the shoulder. And so these are things I recommend with patients and things I do myself, especially before I do any kind of upper body workout. And I tend to do it on a daily basis. So with the shoulder, there's what's called the glenohumeral joint, which is a ball and socket joint. And then you have your rotator cuff that wraps around that ball, and it's a group of 4 different muscles: your subscapularis, your supraspinatus, teres minor, and infraspinatus in the back. They essentially try to keep the ball in the socket when you move your arm around. Then you've also got your scapula, which is your shoulder blade back here. That actually is part of the socket to where your shoulder, your glenohumeral joint is. Then you've also got your clavicle, which connects to your sternum. That's your sternoclavicular joint. And then your acromioclavicular joint. The acromion is part of the scapula. The clavicle, obviously the end of the clavicle, that forms a little joint. So all of that is part of your shoulder complex. And so the main things we want to do to work on the shoulder, flexibility, strength, things like that, is I'm going to demonstrate. So first thing I do is just do a little kind of cross, going back and forth, as far as I can go back and as far as I can go forward. And I do that about 10 times. Then I do forward and back. See how far back I go? About 10 times. Then I go in and out. And I'm squeezing in when I come back, and that allows me to contract the lat at the same time. Back and forth. Then the next thing I do is I'm going to put my hand on the wall, flat on the wall. Arm is nice and straight. Come over here, I'll show you a little better. I'm going to roll my shoulder. I'm going to keep my hand flat on the wall, back and forth, really focusing on rolling the shoulder. A lot of people tend to want to do this. They're not really moving their shoulders much. Focus on rolling the shoulder. I'll do it about 10 times. And then what I do when I take it all the way to the end, and I'll hold it 10 seconds. And I'll go all the way the other way. Hold it 10 seconds. And of course I do both sides. Then I turn my hand around as best you can. Some people can't do it very high. They have to put their hands down here. Just do what you can. Just like that. And so what I'm going to do with this one is just stretch it. So I'm going to kind of pull my body around, and it's going to stretch the front of the shoulder as well as the pec. I'm just going to hold that for about 20 seconds. I do both sides. Then, essentially what I do, the other one where I did on the wall, I'm going to grab something stable, and I'm going to pull away in traction. Come over here so you can see it. So it's the same thing, except now I'm tractioning and pulling away. Rotating back and forth. I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to hold it 10 seconds. Hold it 10 seconds. Do the other side. Essentially what that's doing is there's like connective tissue around your ball and socket, and we need to loosen that up because that's part of what contributes to a lot of stiffness in our shoulder. So, and then coming over here, one last thing I want to do is I recommend purchasing one of these. You can get this a lot Walmart, Target, Academy, things like that. Essentially what I'm going to do is a plank on the ball. A lot of people can't do the full plank, so I'm just going to demonstrate the easy version. I'm going to be on my knees, and I'm just going to straighten my body out. I'm going to lift my upper body up through my shoulders, and then I'm going to hold that. I'm going to circle. And I'll usually circle about 20 times one way and 20 times the other way. Okay? And I do these things every day. The last real thing you want to do that I like to focus on with strengthening the shoulder joints connected with the back, and this helps a lot with posture, is get one of these resistance bands. It's like a giant rubber band, and I just wrap it around something stable. So I'm going to hold it with my palms down, tighten my glutes and my abs. I'm going to pull it towards me, and as I do, I'm going to rotate my hands around, and then kind of, almost like I'm pulling away like that, all at the same time as I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. And the key thing is not to shrug my shoulders, but almost like pull them down. I'm going to hold that as long as I can. Usually try to get to at least a minute, but some people you may only be able to do like 10 seconds or 20 seconds to begin with. Just do what you can. And so that'll help strengthen the muscles, especially in the back, to help improve your posture. Okay?